Hello, I'm Vicki LaRoe with Create and Adorn. Thank you for selecting this video and joining me today. Each week on this channel, I share new, modern, contemporary jewelry designs and how you can make them using minimal materials, minimal techniques, and minimal time, but get maximum impact. And so if that sounds like fun to you, and it really is, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Also, this week, I am excited to announce and share about our new live online jewelry making classes. We are starting next month in January of 2021. And so I'll share a little bit about that later and how you can take them for free. But we're going to get right to jewelry making. So in the thumbnail, right, you saw our little holiday jingle dangle earring. It doesn't jingle, it doesn't make noise. We actually hate that in an earring. It's annoying. But it's really festive and lovely. And you can create this design in any color palette to be worn year-round. And anyone who's made beaded jewelry before or earring class can look at that and say, that's super easy, I can totally make that. And you can, because it is. What I want to kind of focus on in this video, though, is when you are using an assorted kind of mix, how you can create that color mix and then create the balance on the earring between different sizes, shapes, colors, and textures to create kind of a beautiful balanced impact. How do we put together the placement? If you're someone who's like really into their Christmas tree, right, or you think about fancy Christmas trees, right, that's all about the placement of where we put everything so that it's balanced to make that, beautiful impact when it's done. So this is kind of the same way. And this one in the thumbnail, or the sample I'm showing you, is using one of our what I call our precious palettes, and this is our Happy Holidays one. And I do little mixes that are precious gemstones, freshwater pearls, real pearls, and then mixtures of crystals. So like our little Happy Holidays ones, here's a little mix of it there. And she has red garnet, green onyx, moonstone, mother of pearl, and then assorted freshwater pearls in like burgundy and teal and pinks and whites, and then of course an assortment of crystals. Some are Swarovski and some are Chinese and some are Egyptian, just different shapes. Rondelles, bicones, rounds. It's all just about getting, again, a nice kind of balance to the assortment. But whether you're doing it for the holidays or any other kind of mix, chances are if you have a lot of beads and things at home, you can put together a little mixture of something. So there are lots of ways to use these little mixes once you've made them. I'm going to show a couple of quick samples. Here's my Happy Holidays mix in our bracelet. This is our Hidden Gems bracelet that's kind of knotted in between. And when you're doing a mixture of color, right, it's actually a little easier with something like this. You have more mileage or more landscape or something to get that color mix. On the earring, it's a little trickier, right, because it's smaller. But that kind of gives you an idea of mix. And then here's another one. This is our Caribbean Paradise. She has adventurine, ametrine, again, moonstone, aquamarine, beautiful pearls, crystals. And I did that same Hidden Gems bracelet, but then I also did, this is just wire wrapped, all the little separate beads, right? Because you can get a lot of mileage wire wrapping them, right? It doesn't use many beads to do this. And so, again, as long as that beautiful mix works, then it doesn't really matter what design or earring design or jewelry design that you make, it's going to look great. If it looks good all mixed as a palette, it's going to look great on your jewelry. So this is a little Desert Romance is what it was called, that has a mixture of coral, turquoise, amber, citrine. That I did as a little dangle bracelet, kind of very similar to the earring, really. And then I also made it into a long necklace. I know it looks like, but I really wear it as a wrap bracelet. Again, to get that lovely color impact. So I can talk a little bit more about those later on, but let's talk about making this earring. So when we take all her beads off and strip her down naked, underneath here is just a piece of chain and an ear wire. So we have chain remnants under there. And so if you've ever purchased chain, or like at our bead shop, we sell chain by the foot. And so if someone's doing a 30-inch necklace and they buy 3 feet of chain, they're going to end up with 6 inches left over, or like a remnant. And so I really recommend to people not to throw those away or anything, but use them because they're perfect for earrings like this, or even more of a tassel kind of earring or tassel pendant, or it's great for an extension chain on the back, like with a hook and extension chain. There are tons of uses for your remnant chain. So this earring just needs a chain that has a repeated link. So I'm just using a small Rolo, right? This is like a 4mm Rolo chain. So I just mean the link is the same, right? It's not like a oval and round, oval, round. It has to be just the same link, repeated. But it doesn't have to be a Rolo. It could be like a small, chain like this. And like here's a little larger one. Now just know if you do larger links, it's going to take more to fill it. So the smaller, the better, as long as you can still get in there. Not too tight, but as long as you can still attach things, then it's perfect. So this earring only uses 7 links, or like a 1/2 inch. That's the piece of chain that's in there. Isn't that crazy? That's it. And so the first thing I'm going to do is attach it to an ear wire. I'm just using a little ball ear wire, which means the ball's on the ball end, and it's curved right around. That way you just open the front really easily. This is a shorter ear wire, right? My favorite ear wire is just a different style of ball ear wire. I think this one's very pretty, very modern, but it's just too big, right? You can do any ear wire on this type of earring, but it has to be the right size and balance, right? Like, look at it's almost the size of the whole earring, right? So she wouldn't work for that. So if you use a smaller style. But the first thing to do is just to open that to the side, that front, and generally you can string these over the back. And I'm going to move the camera down in just a second, but I just put that through the back, and it falls around to the front, and you'll close her up, and we're in business. Now, I think the best way to do these is to hook them to a board or something so you can see what you're doing. So I'm using like a little pin. And, right, so there's the first one, and then here she is all naked. It's hard to believe that's gonna be that, but that's all that is. And it's good if you can use it standing up like this, put it on an easel or a stand or something so that you can see how things are gonna fall. Right, since I've already made one, I don't have to necessarily do that. But when you're doing your first one, it's really nice to actually have it be hanging down so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to tip the camera down, and what I'm going to do is just attach a few of these and then show you kind of the idea of the placement, because I've already shot this once and it ran way too long because I'm just into showing and sharing so many different details. That's why you need to come take class with me. But I don't want to make these YouTube videos too terribly long. So let's go for a ride. We're very high tech around here, so I will do a 2-camera thing. Again, maybe Santa will bring me a good webcam. Okay. So there she is, kind of. There's the earring, and there's our little buddy. Now, the first thing is we want to select the beads we're going to use. And it just needs an assortment. I have 11 dangles on each one, so a total of 22. So it's very few beads, really. It's not many beads. But here they are on their head pins. And it's an assortment of, I have a little mother of pearl, and then an assortment of the freshwater pearls, and then crystals in different sizes and shapes. It's missing one little pink one. Get her on here. And then there's an assortment of the head pins, or the pin that goes through it. And if you were using all glass beads, say, or all crystal or something, you could get away with the same type of head pin, because this is a mixture of the freshwater pearls and the crystals. I do need a different head pin. This one's a little smaller, the 24 gauge, so it's thinner. freshwater pearls and most gemstones are drilled with a very small hole. And so they need a very thin head pin to go through them. You wouldn't want to use the head pin though on like all of them, just because it will fit, because it's very soft. The thinner it is, the softer it is, right? And the more kind of fragile it is. And also, when you use a thinner 24 gauge, you need to do a different kind of loop at the top. So instead of just a basic loop, you need a loop and a wrap. And I'm going to do them real quick, and I have a separate video that I can link below if you don't, if you haven't done them before or need some refresher. But anytime you use a thinner one, it needs to have a wrap loop, which takes longer. And so it adds more time and adds more wire. It actually adds more length. So we try to avoid using it, the thinner one, and we only use them when we have to. So I have them on the pearls I've selected, but on the crystals I selected that have a larger hole, I can use a thicker head pin. And so I used some with the ball as a decorative accent, and then I did a couple with just your regular head pin. These are about a 21 gauge, and I did a little 2mm round on top. So if you don't have a ball head pin, you can easily just string a 2mm round on the head pin, and then you have a ball head pin. So I like to mix up the assortment of having the ball at the top and the bottom and some little spacers and caps. I think it's nice to kind of lay these out. If you like the assortment in front of you, it's going to look like that on the earring. Then it's just a matter of placement. So if we were in my studio teaching, I will normally draw this out. It has 7 links. The top link goes through the ear wire. And the reason we want an odd number is so the top and the bottom link face the same way, or face forward, kind of looking at you. And so they mirror each other. That way it'll be facing the right direction. And I can share that a little bit more as we keep going here. But so I'm going to scoot this down. And the first thing we want to do is, because the ones with the pearls, so I normally work from the bottom up, but because the pearls or gemstones are on a head pin that requires a wire wrap, I'm going to connect those first because they're the trickiest to get on, and so we'd like to have those in the proper placement to start. So I'm just going to kind of quickly attach my first moonstone at the bottom there, and I'm going to just do a wire wrap and attach her real quick on the bottom link. And again, I'm not going to really walk through these techniques, but I will link a separate video down if you haven't done them before. You need some refresher with it, right? So one thing with these, you want to make sure you're making the same size loop as much as possible. You need to hook it through. I'm hooking it through the very last link. We're going to hook it through before we do the wire wrap. And then I will get this wire wrapped on. So if you were using, like I said, all glass beads, and then you could use a thicker head pin, you wouldn't have to do this. You wouldn't have to do any with the wire wrap loop. And what's nice about the ones with the basic wrap or basic loop is that you can easily move them around, right? You can easily take them off if you don't like the placement on it. You could take it off the chain, where once the wire wrap is on, it's on. Once I cut it off and start over. But I've got that on first, and then since I have more pearls that need to go on with that technique, I've put those on first because they're just trickier to put on. So my bottom link, I added a little oval pearl, and then I kind of separated all these out, kind of one on each link going up as placement. Then your other beads and crystals that are on your ball head pin or your bigger head pin just need a basic loop. They don't have to have that wrap at the top. So again, I'll do that really quickly. And all of these, you'd want to go ahead and do these with the basic loop all up first, or all up together. So you've got that on. And these, when you open them, right, you want to open them to the side with your chain nose pliers. And this one I'm putting on the opposite side of here. And so you could plan this all out, like draw it out first if you wanted to get an idea of placement. I put it on the bottom, so now my bottom link has a nice little cluster with the moonstone and the oval pearl and then that little crystal. And then I'm not going to keep showing all of the adding the links because it adds so much time. But basically you'd make all your other little crystals loops up so you can easily add them on, and you could easily move them around when they have a basic loop. So because links change direction, right, as we go up, so this, like I said, your top one and bottom one both face forward, and then the next link doesn't. So my next link, I'm putting this big pink crystal here so that it kind of falls right in kind of front of that little cluster. And I'm putting one of the big green ones in the back as kind of a peekaboo of color. So, and that would be on the next link, and then I'm putting a little red and green on each one. But you could move those around if you didn't like how they looked. I'm going to move your back up. We're going to go on another eye. Boop, boop, boop. Again, just so I don't make this too terribly long. But that's why I said it's helpful to do these on a board hanging so that you can see how things are going to hang or fall as you attach them. And especially with the little crystals, you can open those loops up and move them around if you need to, which makes it you're not so committed to it, or you haven't ruined a whole head pin or wrap because you need to move it around there. Very easy, and I would love to keep talking about them. That's why I love class so much. You can do mixes of these. Like I mentioned, if you didn't use freshwater pearls or gemstones, you could use a regular head pin on all of them, and you wouldn't have to do that wire wrap, and then you could move things around a little easier if you needed to. I think one reason, though, is that I think my palettes turn out really nicely is because I do use a higher quality of material. They're 50% of gemstone and real pearls, and then filled in with the other 50% is crystal, which I think makes a big difference when something's all glass, per se. But that being said, those mixed palettes are not a place for your very high-end gemstones. It's not a place to put a beautiful high-end tourmaline or a high-end freshwater pearl. The beauty of those is almost in the strand when they're all strung together. And so designs like this are a great place to put kind of low to medium end freshwater pearls and gemstones and things you may have or find. They're actually perfect for it. So again, that's the kind of thing I love to share more of, but in the interest of time, we're not going to. I do want to fill you in about our classes that are coming. I'm very, very excited about them. So each week when I share new designs, I try to have at least one available as a kit. And so that's going to continue. But what I'm doing in that kit, which is actually the one I'm wearing, will now also be available as an online class about a month from now. So I'm always going to do them about a month out, so that if you want to order the kit and then also take class with us, you can add that class on. So this is our class next month, January 16th, Saturday at noon, is for our crystal chains here, our shimmering chains necklace that is knotting. It's knotted and mixture of chains. And this, I did this in a gray, kind of gray pinky plum, so really neutral color palette. But I have it available in 5 color stories, which I'll show. These kits are $38.50, and of course include all the materials and always include a full instruction sheet. And now you'll have an option to add on to take actually a class with us. And so again, it's about a month out, which gives me time to put kits together and get the kit to you so you can do it live with us. The classes are generally $20 to join us. I will leave a discount code though below for 10% off. that will be 10% off your anything you purchase, including the kits, as well as the class. But we also have our Modern Jewelry Creators membership. And I normally don't talk too much about it, except that right now we're doing some really great holiday deals. And the greatest thing about it, I thought membership was still fabulous, is now these classes are free for members. And so with your membership, it's normally $29 a month. Right now you can try 3 months for $60, so it only makes it $20. Or I'll leave another code that you can sign up if you really want to do month to month. You can get it now for $25, and you can cancel anytime. There's so many perks to it. I hate to take your time up here, but our members automatically get the directions and style sheet for every design I do each week for free in their inbox. There's a full class tutorial already for each design that I do available in our members' content library, as well as technique classes like the pearl knotting. I have pearl knotting already in the members' content library, so you could go take that pearl knotting class before you took this if you wanted to. And now they'll be able to do live classes with me every Saturday. I may alternate between Saturdays and Sundays starting in January. As well as one of those weeks will be our bead parties. If we're just meeting, I've been teaching jewelry making for almost 30 years and love teaching classes. And so we've just got to find a new way to do them right now, to do them online. But one of our most favorite things are our monthly bead parties. They're just casual, that you can show up now, I guess, online to work on whatever you want to work on, and I'm there to help you. I'll normally demo some new fun things, but if you had a project or a kit or a technique you needed help with, that's what bead parties are for, and they're meant to be really casual. When we threw them in person, they used to involve wine and food and lots of fun, but you can still drink whatever you want. But those are free for members is my point. So it's just the perfect time to try out our membership. It's more than, the value is much more than what you're paying for it. Our in-person classes were $35 a piece. And now for less than that, you're getting 4 classes a month plus access to the library, blah blah blah, all this stuff. I'm just very excited about it. So I have specials on membership only right now for this month of December, and it's a perfect time to try it out. So I hope that you will join us. I can put the kit for this beautiful crystal chain necklace down below as well. I'm going to introduce color stories. I'm trying to look for the silk. Like I said, this one's in a gray, and then I did the color crystal story I did is like plums and pinks. So it's a little bit of color, but very neutral, and on a gray silk. And then I'm going to do another color story for black, pink, the merlot, and the turquoise sky blue. So it will be gorgeous. Okay, that's all. If you made it this far, thank you so much. If you could hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. We have a Facebook group, Modern Jewelry Creators. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to start these new classes. And until next time, sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Mwah. Peace.